Good evening and welcome to our 2021 induction ceremony. Mrs. Wright and myself are incredibly honored to be the co-advisors for this distinguished organization of scholars. This organization is not only focused on academics, but upon providing service, upholding strong character, and developing leaders within our membership. As advisors, we are tasked with providing guidance and ensuring our bylaws are upheld. But this is an organization that is truly moved forward by the elected officers and the members. With that being said, I will disappear from the stage and hand this ceremony over to our current and future officers. The President Sage will begin.
Members and inductees of the National Honor Society, guests, Mr. Fry, and friends, my name is Sage Hartsfield, and as the president of Grants Pass High School chapter of the National Honor Society, I welcome you. We have come to witness the induction of new members into this organization. The National Honor Society was founded in 1921 by the National Association of Secondary School Principals. Its purpose is to create an enthusiasm for scholarship, to stimulate a desire to render service, to promote leadership, and to develop character in the students of America's secondary schools. Through the years, it has identified potential leaders for our school and country and encouraged the development of active citizens. Members of National Honor Society are those active citizens engaging in service and leadership. One only has to look at our modern political climate to understand that these qualities are imperative to the democratic, ensuring a healthy nation. The Grants Pass chapter received its charter in May of 1941, although it had a local chapter since May of 1929. In recent years, it has provided scholarships for its senior members. Often the leaders and officers of our school are found among the members of our honor society. Each year, we take in new members who, in the estimation of the Faculty Council, have reached the high standards of character, scholarship, leadership, and service. The candle burning before you represents the flaming torch, the emblem of our purpose. The unlighted candles are symbolic of the 4 requirements upon which selection to the society are based. So that all pledges and members may know, I shall call on the other officers to speak to the principles of character, scholarship, leadership, and service. Speaking to character and scholarship is Vice President Onmegui.
Good evening. Character encompasses valor, patience, love, purity, moral courage, gratitude, respect, perseverance in the right, and independence of thought. A character composed of these elements would be a great character indeed. However, it becomes noble only in the light of humility. Helen Keller, a woman who exemplified character, once said, "Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved." A good, sound, and strong character is the foundation for scholarship, leadership, service, and life. In regards to scholarship, excellence reveals not only that one's level of knowledge has increased, but also that the individual has endeavored to make the most of the opportunities at hand. Knowledge is both necessary and useful. It can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. It is a truism that knowledge is power, nevertheless, wisdom is a crucial companion. Knowledge broadens horizons and urges the mind to reach further and higher. It dispels the limitations of ignorance and fear and provides freedom from the shackles of self. And now, our treasurer, Ella, speaking on leadership and service.
Leadership in its highest sense is not simply a result of being nice or smart. In order to benefit mankind, leadership must stem from unselfish motives, from a strong character, and from an informed mind. Humility is requisite here. Also, for the success of any cause is endangered when the leader thinks of him or herself greater than the cause. A true leader is marked by self-confidence and poise, both of which are born of experience, knowledge, and an understanding of people. Self-confidence is not conceit, but it's genuine belief in the righteousness of one's cause and a just appraisal of one's ability and knowledge. In you, the leaders of your own world today, lies the hope of the world tomorrow. And regarding service, service is love, and without love, service is empty. The love which inspires true service is not partial, but universal. It takes no cognizance of hate. It does not foster jealousy. It inspires loyalty and confidence, because it destroys fear. Upon every hand are opportunities to render service, to an individual, to an organization, to your country, or to the world. As Albert Pine said, what we have done for ourselves alone dies with us, and what we have done for others and the world remains immortal. Today, the world needs individuals who can rise above the tides of the times and serve unselfishly. Before we proceed with the final parts of our ceremony, our Public Relations Officer, Gabriella, will introduce our guest speaker for the evening.
The guest speaker for our ceremony tonight will be our Social Studies Department head, Mr. Fry. Mr. Fry has been working in schools since 1986 and teaching since 1990. This marks his 31st year in the classroom. He earned a BA in history from San Diego State, did graduate school from teaching at National University in San Diego, and earned a master's degree in political philosophy and history from Excelsior College. He taught for 4 years in San Diego, then came to GPHS in fall of 1994. He also taught for Oregon's first online school, Roe Community College, Pacific Bible College, and the graduate teaching program for Concordia University. He has taught just about everything in social studies along with a handful of English classes. He even created the Holocaust Studies and AP European courses at our high school. Most notably, he has taught sophomore advanced world cultures since 1995, and for almost all that time taught alongside the recently retired Martin Zatola and previous NHS guest speaker. Mr. Fry taught soccer for 22 years in addition to the myriad of courses he taught inside the classroom. He has 2 adult children and has been married for as long as he has been teaching. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Fry.
Thank you, Gabriella. I'm going to take this off because I've got to talk a lot. It gets kind of stuffy in there. National Honor Society members, families, friends, and especially new inductees. In words that my former teaching partner would appreciate because they're from the Grateful Dead, what a long, strange trip it's been. I'm not sure you know or even care about education buzzwords, but we spent the last few years talking about building resilience in kids. But it turned out we teachers need it as much as you do. On the upside, apparently I'm now an internet star. Thank you, Prezi, wherever you are. But I'm reminded of some words that C.S. Lewis wrote while Nazi bombs were falling on students and schools in London during World War II. The only people who achieve much are those who want knowledge so badly that they seek it when conditions are still unfavorable. Favorable conditions never really come. And that's how some of you have got here. You've battled your way through unfavorable conditions, and that could be even before COVID. COVID was just one more thing for you to overcome. To you, and you know if I'm talking to you right now, I hope you feel a little extra honor for being an overcomer, for what you have accomplished. For others, we've been blessed with everything we needed to launch us upwards. And to you, though I believe you've earned your honors just the same, I'm just going to remind you to be thankful, because thankfulness is an honorable attitude. And I am deeply honored and thankful to be invited to speak to you tonight, although I'm well aware that if Zatola were still here, you would have preferred him. So would I. Team taught with that man for so long. I couldn't believe they paid me to just hang out and watch that kind of entertainment. But I will do my best to fill his shoes. Tonight we induct members into a society whose pillars are scholarship, leadership, character, and service. Your officers have spoken of those noble terms. Those defining words remind us that the word honor is not really about your grades. It's not about your ability to ace a test this year, fake it through a Zoom session, though we were suspicious because your cameras are never on. Tonight you are here, at least in part, because of your powerful academic achievements. Somewhere along the way, possibly even my class, you heard the words that Aunt May just said a moment ago: knowledge is power. We, of course, are fascinated with power. We like to be empowered. We make celebrities of the powerful, and we make the powerful into celebrities. Many of you, since you're at the top of your classes, will be powerful and successful people. Information, technical ability, quick thinking, and mastery of certain bodies of knowledge will open doors for you in this world. But to be honest, none of those things are really worthy of honor. I mean, don't get me wrong, knowledge and power and information, education, those are nice things, but there's nothing really honorable about those things. History, you knew there was going to be some history. History reminds us that the nation that won more Nobel Prizes in the sciences before 1940 also gave us the Nazi regime. And the leader responsible for the Bosnian genocide of the 1990s had a PhD in psychiatry and had studied at one of the United States' most prestigious universities. So acquiring powerful knowledge does not always make someone a good neighbor. The Greek word for knowledge, sorry if you've been my student, you're going to hear this again, was techne. I'm sort of fascinated by that because we live in a world that's fascinated with technology. You're going to go to college and where you'll hear motivational speakers give you techniques. You can go to Harvard or Oxford and get recognition for being a master of technique and an innovator in technology. Our society is frankly drowning in techne, but all our techniques and technology don't always help us to live what the ancient Greeks called the good life, what Jesus called the abundant life. Those old dudes in togas, they had a different word for wisdom. They called it Sophia. They knew that techne and Sophia, knowledge and wisdom, were two very, very different things. Techne can split an atom. Sophia is knowing whether or not that's a good idea. The philosophers believed that the honorable person was someone who pursued wisdom. They defined happiness as finding what was good and true and beautiful and using that wisdom to guide your life. To be honest, our schools are pretty good at distributing techne, but wisdom's a little tougher. And over the next few years, you're going to hear professors pontificate and lecture. Yes, longer than I do, amazing as that may be to some of you. They will be charming, they will be articulate, they may occasionally say something profound, and one or two can even tell good jokes. They will, by virtue of their vast education, open a treasure house of techne for you. But I have to be honest with you, after attending a lot of colleges, I can't recall too many lectures on wisdom. So despite being well educated, there's a couple things I eventually learned anyway about wisdom. First, you're only going to be wise if you passionately love truth, because truth is elusive. Truth, like happiness or a lover, requires pursuit. Chasing truth is sometimes like an Indiana Jones quest. It has to be hunted down through the jungles of confusion, which are getting thicker in this age of social media. Truth is tough to capture, and we humans don't hang on to it too well once we find it. Because when you grab onto it, sometimes it has sharp edges. A lot of people, to quote Jack Nicholson from A Few Good Men, can't handle the truth. And truth confronts us. It gets in our face. You have to want it in order to handle the difficulty of finding it. John Locke, the guy who Jefferson plagiarized to write the Declaration of Independence, once said that he that would seriously set upon the search of truth ought in the first place to prepare his mind with a love of it. For someone that loves it not won't try very hard to get it. or be much concerned when you miss it. And yet without truth, we die. Locke also said, I know there's truth opposite the falsehood, and it may be found if people will, and it's worth the seeking. Secondly, and to use another word I heard your officers say a moment ago, truth is humbling. Right when we think we have it, we find out we have a lot more to learn. After 31 years of teaching, I am excited to keep teaching, a lot of times because I keep learning new things. So no, I'm not ready for Jeopardy yet. There's more to know. Truth keeps you humble. Grasping the truth doesn't mean closing your mind. And a great part of wisdom is willingness to be quiet and listen, to be humble enough to entertain challenges to your own thinking, to even, and this is really hard to say in this age of elephants and donkeys and red and blue, hang out with people you don't already agree with about everything. What a concept. But thirdly, wisdom requires us at times to defend the truth. At some point, truth draws a line in the sand and requires us to commit ourselves. As Chesterton said, the object of opening the mind, like opening your mouth, is to close it again on something solid. Certainty scares some people. You're often told that you shouldn't be judgmental. What a bunch of nonsense. People make judgments every day. They judge some actions as worth doing and other actions as unworthy. You either like Vladimir Putin or you don't. You either like Justin Bieber's music or you're counted among the righteous because you like 80s rock. You choose to follow some people on Insta, whatever the poop it is this month, or if you're over 40, that would be Facebook, or you don't. You can't avoid judgments. As much a part of life as breathing. Now, I get what we mean by don't be judgmental is don't be foolish, hasty, or mean, which, by the way, are judgments about how you should or shouldn't judge. Besides, isn't the person who tells you not to be judgmental sort of judging? Anyway, a wise education, I think, would encourage deep questions and critical thinking that results in good judgment. Or if you prefer a different word, discernment between the false and the true. Reverend Martin Luther King said, education must enable one to sift and weigh evidence, to discern the true and the false, the real and the unreal, and the facts from fiction. Those words of Dr. King's are rather dogmatic and absolute. They remind us, again to our occasional discomfort, that wisdom eventually demands decision. It demands commitment, and certainly about right and wrong, good and evil. Words that make us nervous, and we only use in rare situations like mass bombings or lectures on Hitler or the Oakland Raiders. Okay, I'm just kidding, Raiders fans. Sort of. But I do stand with that cantankerous old Englishman, Samuel Johnson, who said the supreme goal of education is expert discernment in all things, the power to tell the good from the bad, the genuine from the counterfeit, and to prefer the good and the genuine to the bad and the counterfeit. Finally, some of you are saying thankfully, wisdom requires us at times to be courageous. It can even demand that you have not only a reason to live, but occasionally even a reason to die. It requires the courage when someone is looking us in the eye and telling us we are wrong to die to ourselves, even if that person is the one in the mirror, and admit we have to set something aside because the truth is better than the lie that makes us feel good. Winston Churchill said, men occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry off as if nothing ever happened. But if you really want to be wise and true, you're probably going to have to go through the arduous task of thinking deeply and confronting yourself and possibly even changing your direction. Of course, this is an old guy talking to young people, and the older you get, the harder it is to admit you might have been wrong. As I told my classes last week, I haven't been wrong since 1998. But please don't ask Mrs. Fry what she thinks about that. That was a joke. To once again quote Dr. King, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, I think that's what your officers just spoke about a moment ago. That is the goal of true education. And to do that, especially when some people around you would care less about truth simply because they're inconvenient, well, that takes courage. And now the words you've been waiting for, in conclusion. What is the practical good of all that philosophizing, Fry? Well, actually, wisdom's the most practical thing in the world. As scary as this is to some of the older folks in the room, not that there's many of us, someday you'll be in charge. And remember what I've told you in class, please keep my oxygen flowing. But you will be the teachers. You will be the leaders of this community and the state and the republic. And as one of our speakers said a moment ago, if we ever needed wisdom, it's now. We can hear much today in education about test scores and careers and the promise of technology. But high scores, big paychecks, and better gadgets mean nothing without wisdom to pursue happiness. Years ago, C.S. Lewis wrote in defense of the liberal arts, which, by the way, literally mean the arts of free people. He attacked the idea that the purpose of school is to give you a career or help you make a lot of money or to make more worker drone bees. These may not be bad things, but Lewis warned against an educational system that only engages in what he called training, with the aim of making not good men and women, but merely good bankers, good electricians, and good surgeons. Rather, Lewis defended the idea that education in a free society should transform the student from an unregenerated little bundle of appetites, those are his words, into a person who pursues wisdom, a person you'd want as your neighbor, no matter how much they made or didn't make or what they did for a living. And Lewis wrote, if education is beat by mere training, civilization is dead. For the lesson of history, that civilization is a rarity, and it's only attained with difficulty. It's easy to lose it. So if education is simply about you getting a good job, we're all in trouble. So honor students as our best and brightest, our future leaders. The pursuit of happiness falls next to you. You've acquired a great deal of knowledge. You've been fairly well educated. But what we really depend on is you becoming courageous lovers of truth and wisdom. And if you wish to be honorable scholars who lead and serve with character, then develop a love for truth, goodness, and beauty. Think and question deeply, drink deep from the well of wisdom. Then you will be good neighbors and good citizens and have a good and abundant life. Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Fry. I would like to take a few moments to explain the National Honor Society colors. Our colors are blue and gold. Blue, the clear, bright blue of the sky above us, or the blue of the mountain lakes say to us, be true. True to yourself, true to your fellow man, and true to family. Gold, the warm, beautiful gold of the sun above, and the flame of the torch says to us, light your torches and care for them well, so well that they will radiate their light into the whole world. The emblem of the National Honor Society is the keystone in the flaming torch. The keystone bears at its base the letters C, S, L, and S, which stands for character, scholarship, leadership, and service. As the keystone is placed by the builder to hold the perfect arch and perpetual stability, so the structure of our education must be held firm and true to the purpose of life by the ideals represented in this symbol. The torch has, from the earliest times, been the emblem of knowledge. Unlighted, it has no power to lead and guide. It is of no effect until the torch of a match changes it into a vital and useful flame. As the men of long ago lit his torch to guide him into new and dark places, so all men and women who seek truth must light this torch of knowledge. As officers, we acknowledge that the candidates have listened to the 4 precepts of our organization and the meaning of our colors and emblem. I believe they are now ready for entrance into membership of the National Honor Society. And now Robin Hager, the secretary, will introduce the inductees and their families.
My name is Robin. I am the Secretary of National Honor Society. We recognize that many of our accomplishments are made possible because of the role our families have played in our lives. The time has now come for us to take up that light from the torch of the National Honor Society, to take the virtues symbolized by its flame and light into your own lives. All inductees, please rise. And as your name is read, come forward and receive your membership card and certificate. Brooke Alderson, child of Carrie Alderson and Casey Alderson. Emily R.S., child of Carmen and Omaro R.S. Ellie Berg, child of Jeff and Shelby Berg. Ahmed Carney, child of Anna Carney and Anna Carney. Tyra Boyum, child of Donnie and Kim Boyum. Cade Brandes, child of Rob and Shelley Brandes. Ethan Burtis, child of Marielle and Scott Nelson. Damon, Michaela, and Marie. Aiden Cabler, child of Tyler Cabler and Jennifer Brewer. Alex Chang, child of Yun and Soon Chang. Harmony Clark, child of Heather Clark and Jeff Clark. Sarah Clark, child of Doug Clark and Mary Clark. Spencer Fall, family of Jessica Fall, Casey, and Lori Fall. One moment. Kayla Feskins, child of Jamie Feskins and Ryan Feskins. Tag Fry, child of Tim and Sarah Fry. Sean Glover, child of Ben Glover and Jill Glover. Raina Grant, child of Renee Grant and Brian Grant. Ella Hayes, child of Anna Hayes and Casey Hayes. Ben Heater, child of Matt and Leslie Heater. Reed Hood, child of Carol Gibbert and Jason Gibbert. Amalia Yanyos, child of Nancy Yanyos and Aris Yanyos. Rebecca Leidy, child of Holly and Archie Leidy. Ella Liebert, child of Jared and Alyssa Liebert. Right? Pardon me. Bella Marshak, child of Stephen Marshak and Elizabeth Harney. Ethan Nelson, child of Scott and Marielle Nelson. Tucker Neville, child of Todd Neville and Jeanette Neville. Ella Osipovich, child of Sarah and Peter. Paige Pastrell, child of Shay Marsh and Peter Pastrell. Jacob Parasco, child of Carrie and Chris Parasco. Sophia Prine, child of Deborah and Peter Prine. Isabel Lopez, family of Lopez. Shelby Sheehan, child of Perry and Heather Sheehan. Joshua Smith, child of Felicia and David Smith. Trevor Smith, child of Kim Smith. Alana Smolinski, child of Henry and Josephine. Marley Stewart, child of Randy and Chris Stewart. Kiara Thomas, child of Daisy Thomas and Keith Thomas. Jalen Thorson, child of Christy Thorson and Chad Thorson. Jackson Tunick, child of Andrea and John Tunick. Andrew Weber, child of Michael and Kimberly Weber. Isaiah Williams, child of Mary Williams. Sophie Woodburn, child of Chris and Amy Woodburn. George Wormuth, child of George Wormuth. And Emily Yount, child of Ryan and Heather Yount. Ron May will lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, Robin. All inductees, please stand. Place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge to seek the light of truth, to hold scholarly habits, to engage in worthy service, and to lead forward in all things, and that shall advance the welfare of the school, the well-being of my community, and the honor of my country. In doing so, I shall prove myself worthy of a place in the National Honor Society. Well done. You may be seated.
With every honor comes a corresponding duty. So too, now that you have attained membership in the National Honor Society, you have the duty to develop even further the qualities of character, scholarship, leadership, and service. On behalf of the faculty of Grants Pass High School and the members of Grants Pass High School National Honor Society, I welcome you. Sincere congratulations and best wishes. As current officers, this inductee ceremony is one of our final formal duties in office. I'm excited to introduce 5 of the officers that will lead and guide our organization next year. Please stand as I say your name. Mira Rice, Kai DeWitt, Abe Selvis, Milan Gurin, Pooja Patel, and Bryce Robertson. Please welcome Mira Rice and Kai DeWitt as they wrap up our ceremony.
Thank you, Sage. My name is Mira Rice, and I know I speak for my fellow officers in saying that we are honored to be able to lead the National Honor Society next year. We look forward to working with each of the new members as we strive to serve as leaders in our school and community. We would also like to extend a sincere thank you to our current officers. You have led and guided our National Honor Society with integrity and character this past year. We appreciate the example that you have set for us.
My name is Kai DeWitt, and we want to thank the inductees' family and friends for joining on YouTube tonight. As inductees last year, we know how much your presence means to our new members. Our induction ceremony is formally concluded. Inductees, as your first act of community service as new members, please remove your name tag from the seat. We invite you to ask us any questions you have about Grants Pass National Honor Society. Thank you all and have a good night.